Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the ultimate preview for the game against shaky Spurs on Thursday night in the League Cup. We are obviously on a high right now from the Manchester derby, as you can tell by Chivy's face. But will that last? What do you think going into this, Chivy? Thursday night? It's a bit of a weird one, isn't it? Because you don't quite know what to expect from Spurs.
Yeah, they're kind of like us in that sort of way where you don't really know what to expect.
Mm.
But if I'm not mistaken, I think they've got quite a few injuries. Or am I wrong? I think they've got a few
Well,
injuries.
what injuries have you heard?
I don't remember. I just know they have a few. I
Yeah,
think some defenders.
there's a couple. Yeah. So Romero, Van der Ven, I think are out, which
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. But then, yeah, it's literally like a Jekyll and Hyde sort of thing with Tottenham because I think they lost to Ipswich and then they beat City and then they lost to some stupid team and then they beat
Palace,
another
they lost
they,
to.
yeah. So it's one of those ones. I don't know if they'll prioritize the League Cup. I'm not sure what Ange is up to as far as the League Cup, and maybe he might rest some players. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, it's one of those ones where I can't. Like Spurs is just one team that I can't just seem to kind of get a read on.
Mm. You're not the only one. I think there's plenty of people who watching them season. I think they've embodied what the Premier League's been about, actually, in the sense of like
Mm.
it's just been up and down. You don't know what you're going to get from the next day to the other. I mean, doing my Premier League predictions week in, week out, I'm like, I don't fucking have a clue. I genuinely, I'll predict like, I remember one of the first predictions I've done with the Premier League was Liverpool at home, Anfield to Forest. And they lost to Forest. I was like, oh, well, I got that wrong. And then, like, Tottenham, again, I think it was the Palace game. I was like, should smash them. Just beat Villa 4-0, beat City 4-0, lost 1-0.
Yeah,
Like, you look at games, you like, I
crazy.
don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. The inconsistencies, like, and then with Spurs, it's like there's no middle ground.
Mm,
There's just either really good. It's either a really good result or it's shocking.
yeah.
And it's just one of those ones.
Mm.
But
I
then
mean,
against us, I think we've shown. I know City wasn't that great, but I think we've shown that on occasion we can actually rise to, we can actually rise to the
yeah.
challenge.
Yeah. Again, I mentioned to you before, the camera may go off, Jimmy,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you will
yeah. I
still see
know.
this.
That's fine.
So
Yeah.
I've got my replacement. Don't worry about that. People are probably thinking, what the fuck? He looks a different colour here. Yeah, different camera. I had a feeling the camera might die, but that's what you get when you are prepared. Yeah, the immediate question going into this, Chive, is, Garnacho Rashford was the massive story, wasn't it, before the derby? You've had news Garnacho just winning the Puskas Award for his overhead kick. These two, do you think they'll be in contention? Do you think it'll just be a normal week again? Resume back to normality for Amarin?
I think one of them will feature. Well, one of them will start, but they'll both be in the team. I think from what the manager said, that they were training well. And I think the message has been sent clear. So it's up to them right now, to
Yeah.
perform. But I think we'll have both of them in there, especially with the fixture congestion. We need to rest players, we need to have players fit. They haven't played, they've trained, so I would expect them to be back in the squad. Or at
Mm.
least one of them on the starting lineup at the very least.
I'm like, I don't know what to
Who
think
do you
here,
think?
because that's what I mean. I'm a bit like in between, because I'm thinking, from the way Amarin was speaking, it was like, well, fresh week, fresh ideas,
Yeah.
nothing too major. I'm like, all right, they're just going to be back in there. But whether they start or not is like another question. So we'll get into the starting lineups shortly
All right.
anyway. But how do we set up for this game? Because obviously against Man City, it was quite pragmatic. He obviously went with Maz as a wing back, bit more defensive approach. Do you think they'll go for Spurs here, or do you think it'll be much more measured?
I think we'll be a little bit more measured. I would hope we are. Everybody knows that Spurs leave a lot of space at the back.
Mm,
And that is, they play with a high line. He's going to live and die on that hill. And I think there's a lot to exploit there.
mm-hmm.
That's why I know we'll go into the starting lineup, but that's why
Yeah.
you need pacing behind, like Rashford, like Garnacho, if one of them starts maybe. And I see this. I think it's an open game. I think we've come off a really good win. The confidence is high. I think the players are starting to understand. They're starting to. I think the manager's starting to come in with the players now. And I think, I think we'll fancy our chances. I know we're away at Spurs. I'm not sure the last time we won there, but I think there's spaces to exploit in behind. And with the system, if you watch the games, there's so many times where from us watching it, you could see that players are trying to make runs. Maybe the midfielders don't see them on time, but there's a lot to exploit in Spurs backline. And I think we can do it really.
I
So I
think
hope it's kind of like one of those setups where we're looking to exploit the space. We're good defensively, good in the midfield. It's just the attack, really.
I think they mentioned it on Talk of the Devils the other day, actually, at the start. The last time we won was, you remember Cavani and Ronaldo up top at Spurs?
Oh, shit.
I think that was the last time we won. I think so, yeah.
That must have been like 21, 22.
Yeah, 21 it was. Because you got to remember, under Eric Ten Hag, our away record against the top six, let alone the record against top six in general, was fucking awful. Was absolutely awful. So yeah, it's been a hot minute, but I think going into this, I think there's a good chance. Do you think, obviously with Amorim with separate competitions, he's heavily rotated. Does he need to start fine tuning that now for you?
Yeah, I think so. At the end of the day, you rotate, but you rotate maybe 2 or 3 players. You don't rotate like a whole squad. You kind of get your spine, your template of what you want, your trusted players, and then you have other players sort of rotate. And I think over the next couple of games, we'll start to see maybe people like Malacia getting less game time.
Yeah.
Some of the people that you can really, really rely on. And Amorim, he's one of those managers that he wants to win. He always wants to win. He's not going to do I don't expect to see massive rotations in the game. Right now, we hardly have any time to train. So sometimes, the games are the training sessions, really. So you want to have your players, like the players that you trust to play. Yeah, you can rotate, take a player off after 60 minutes, 70 minutes, that sort of thing. That's the sort of rotation that I expect us to see, but I wouldn't expect to see massive changes to the starting lineup. Maybe some players will drop off from injuries. I know Mazraoui is kind of like a doubt. I don't know who else. Maybe this might be a good time to kind of rest Ahmad and then bring him on as an impact sort of thing. But I don't expect to see massive changes, to be fair.
Let's see what everyone else is saying. Andy Williams, Rashford is gone then. Interesting. Random guy saying, just my opinion, Spurs are going to take this game as serious as a Champions League game because of Ange's hunger for trophies. He would put out a very strong team with the available player, of course. Just play on the counter and you'll win. I'd expect Casemiro, Yoro, Anthony Garner, Rashi Manu and Malacia to start. We'll dive into the starting 11s very shortly, don't worry, people. Just don't play Dalot, please. We were shy.
No one else.
No, there's not. It's managing it must be difficult because Dalot is one of those players, despite what people will say, is always available in it. Like he's never ever injured, that guy. He's always fit, ready, available to go. Obviously you can question his ability at times. You can question his concentration, but he is always available. And sometimes in difficult seasons where there's a lot of fixtures, having someone like that isn't the worst thing in the world. But I do agree that there's still question marks on him. For me personally, if you look at the Old Trafford game, Civir, obviously a really bad one, result 3-0. What will be the biggest difference from that, do you think?
That was under Ten Hag, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah, very open.
If I remember clearly.
Van der Ven, remember him making that run from deep?
Yeah, that was that run. Yeah, he just went through everyone. I don't think they'll find as much space as they did. We've seen recently that the midfield is a lot more assured in recent games, which would explain the fact that a lot of our goals are coming from like set pieces and that.
Yeah.
I don't expect them to have that much space. I think it will be a little bit more rigid than before. You mentioned pragmatism there. I think it will be a little bit more pragmatic this time. And defensively, we just look a lot more solid, I think. And then it was under Ten Hag. There was a bit of a funk in the air as well then. I expect the players to have a little bit more belief now. And I think we'll be going into this with a little bit more confidence. Tactically, it's a completely different setup from what Ange experienced the last time. And I think with the way we set up now, it gives us a lot more. I mean, we'll find a lot more chances, or at least we'll be able to create more in this setup than we did last time. I don't remember the game that well. I know it was really atrocious after a while, but I know we had like a 15-minute spell where we tried to come back in it, but then that was just like momentum sort of building at the time. It wasn't anything tactically, if I remember clearly. But yeah, I think it would be a lot more different now. I think this would be a slightly, well, not slightly. I think this would be a significantly different Man United that faced Ange first time.
Who do you think are the favourites? If the bookies right now were doing the odds, what would it be? Do you reckon, percentage-wise?
It has to be us, man. It has
what,
to
like
be
60-40?
Yeah, I'll say maybe 55-45, something like that. Well, maybe I'm just speaking from emotion or from bias. It's probably 50-50. Probably
I think so.
They just came off a really good win. Trash Southampton 5-0. They'll be coming in with a little bit of confidence as well. But for them to beat us twice in a couple of months, I don't know. I don't think that. Well, the players is another thing, but yeah, if I was a player, like I would have some pride. Honestly, like for them to beat us twice, nah, I'm not sure. Like we'd have to repay that. So yeah. But yeah, to answer your question, 50-50.
I'd probably agree with that. I think 50-50 is fair, and obviously depends on how heavily he does rotate, like we've kind of already touched on. I thought there was a lot of players that got praised at the weekend, Civir, but I thought one player who kind of went under the radar a little bit was Harry Maguire. And then Defo was given the coach food for thought. I think in that back five central, I think he's really good in that role. Who should start in there for you? Do you prefer Maguire there? Are you Matthias de Ligt?
He didn't go under my radar. Remember after the Arsenal game?
Yeah.
I was saying this, like he came in and we just looked a lot more comfortable then. And me personally, I know it sounds crazy, but Harry Maguire is a starter in this team for me. Because I saw this from the Arsenal game. Like he was just in that back three, he just looked so much more comfortable. He looked like he was communicating a lot better than before. And he just seems like he knows what to do now. Like he's not in 5s and 6s anymore. Like it's literally his distribution, his reading of the game, his physicality, air duels, interceptions. Like he's just transformed. Well, I know it's been a few games, so I won't get ahead of myself. But honestly, he's a starter for me right now in that defense.
I think he's definitely asking question marks, isn't he? For sure.
He is. I mean, yeah. I mean, he looks more assured than de Ligt. I know it's not the popular thing to say, but this is just my opinion. He looks just a lot more assured in that defense than de Ligt. Or Lissandro has put in a few bad performances recently. I think Harry Maguire has really been good under Amorim. So yeah, I'd say play him. I'd definitely play him there. And he did not go under my radar. Like he was one of the ones that I was really, really pleased to see perform really well because he's been under. I mean, we've slated him, so he deserves a bit of. He deserves this vein of form he's in.
Yeah, agreed. And I think it's a shining example to anyone who's been through a bit of a rough patch and has bounced back. I mean, I'm sure Marcus can probably use a bit of advice from him, to be honest with you, because he's going through the motions at the minute with a lot of the criticism. But yeah, like I said, starting 11s are coming soon, so don't worry about that. Get your thoughts in about Maguire as well in the chat, anyone who's currently watching live or watching this later on. I want to talk about Spurs just a little bit. I mean, we don't have to spend too long. Spend 5 minutes. It's Spurs, isn't it? Do they remind you a little bit? Is it shades of Ten Hag with the way they play in Spurs? Not in terms of, obviously, attacking. They're very nice on the eye. But how open they are and how chaotic it is at times. There is shades of Ten Hag there, isn't there?
With Ten Hag, it was more like the midfield, right? Like we were just wide open in the midfield. Spurs really play good football. Like I rate Ange. I actually rate him as a manager. I think the only parallels I'll draw with Ten Hag is just the stubbornness to persist with this system. The difference here is that sometimes it pays off massively for them, and then other times it kind of goes to shit. With us, it was just crap. It was literally just crap. And
But
then
no, but I have
we
to come
had
back at
players
you
to
on
kind of
that.
pay. Yeah, go
I,
on.
I have to go back because I think sometimes the chaos would go in our favour, wouldn't it? I know a lot of times it wouldn't, but there was games where we created a Liverpool in the FA Cup, prime example. That was a chaotic game, very open. But because we created chaos, Liverpool lost their heads a little bit and they got drawn into it. I remember Van Dijk saying that after the game. So it wouldn't always come in our favour, but sometimes the odd occasion I think
But
it
it,
would.
but it wasn't tactical. I think that's the point I'm trying to
Yes,
make.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't. It wasn't tactical. It's slightly different. I get what you're saying,
Hmm.
but I think with that one it wasn't tactical, and we had some players come in and kind of. I mean, we relied a lot on individual brilliance. Spurs, whenever they are on it, it's like they don't. When they are on it, it's not. They don't win like 1-0 or 2. They go like 3,
They
4.
batter
Like
them
they
in it.
score goals. Yeah, they just run through it. And it's not really like individual brilliance that they're heavily reliant on. It's the system that works. But then he's just so persistent on this, and I think this is what will cost him in the end.
Mm. Is it? I was about to say, is it sustainable to win something big, like even win a trophy? Can you win, let's say, a League Cup or an FA Cup with the way his style is?
With Cops, it's the luck of the draw. Like, so say they beat Man United and then they draw fucking, I don't know,
Shrewsbury.
Coventry, yeah, Dewsbury or something. Yeah, it's really the luck. With Cups, especially with like FA Cups and then the League Cups and stuff, it's just the luck of the draw, really.
Mm.
If you get like we got really favorable draws when we won the Carabao Cup. I think most of the big teams got taken out early, and I think the main team that we faced was like Brighton, and then before we faced like Newcastle and stuff. So it's the luck of the draw. But then this style of football could sustain you to win a trophy, a cup trophy. It's not sustainable in the league.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's a very fair assessment. I don't know. I don't know how I feel as a Spurs fan watching it because I'm like sometimes those win because Spurs have been craving good football for so long. You look at like under Conte and Mourinho and Nuno Espirito. Obviously, he's doing really well with Forest at the minute, but it was so dull and pragmatic and just boring. And it's like they wanted this new lease of life. Andrew's come in, he's the complete opposite, got character, personality, plays the game in a very attacking way and won't change it. But then it's like, I still don't think, they're still close to us in the league. If you look at positions, they're not far away from us. So it's like, will you take that? Or would you rather take maybe a cup and like a Mourinho win? Or because obviously Mourinho got to the final and they sacked him before it, didn't they? So I don't know. I'd be a bit on the fence because you can see the good things, but then also losing to Palace and losing to these teams that you shouldn't be. He's been limbo as a fan, wouldn't
you? You have to win something. That's a given. But then you have to also be realistic at the same time. Like regardless of how good they play, they're never really going to win the league, really.
Mm.
So if success is top 4, I think they can achieve it. Well, not this season, but over time, they might be able to achieve it with the way they play. But I think to be realistic as a Spurs fan, you're looking to win a trophy here or there, League Cup, FA Cup sort of thing. But yeah, I think it just takes a little bit of ironing out. Maybe be a little bit more pragmatic. But you're never going to win the league. Let's just be honest. At least, well, let's be honest. Like, I mean, do you see it? I don't see it. Like, I don't.
No, not for a while. No, I think
Yeah.
United could potentially win the league before them, and that's saying something because we are
Yeah.
way off it.
No, absolutely, we can. I mean, with the right purchases, once we get the balance in the team, why not? We've got more resources. We've got more pool. We can attract more players. We can, and I think we're just a little bit more ambitious than Tottenham, regardless of where our position is in the league right now. I think we just have that ambition. But yeah, I think as a Spurs fan, you should be looking to win like one of these cups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to get into ones to watch in a minute. I'm just going to go to the comments. Joshua Owen saying we need to take advantage of them missing their starting 2 centre-backs. That's what I mean. They're going to be weak at the back. You've got to convert opportunities for sure. Yeah. I agree with that. I think we should rest a lit, play Yoro on the right. I'll be honest, I don't think this system we can rest Ugarte just how it is played. Have you heard the extension talks from Maguire? Do you think we should extend his contract? Well, I spoke about that in the afternoon show, but I'll throw that question to you, Civir. What do you think?
Absolutely. Just give him a year's contract. How old is he? 30, 31?
Yeah, something around that, yeah.
Yeah, I would say, and not just from like a, not a reactionary point of view. If we have to observe PSR in the summer, and if we can't spend big on a defender, we can extend it by 1 year, and then spend the money in other parts of the team that, where we really need to spend. Just say, for example, we want to get Gyökeres.
Yeah.
Just hypothetically, yeah, we will need to cough up like, I don't know, at least 85 million pounds. That's going to take a huge chunk of our budget. And then we can't then go and spend another 70 or 50 on, let's just say hypothetically, Jared, what's his name? Branthwaite. Yeah, exactly. So, Branthwaite, yeah. So yeah, so extend this contract by like another year or so. Maybe get a cut deal price for another central defender, and keep him there because we're going to lose Johnny Evans. We're going to lose Victor Lindelof, right? If we lose Harry Maguire, that means we've lost 3 centre defenders. That's too much, too many defenders to do. We'll lose Luke Shaw, probably, and we might lose Malacia. So like, I think we have to play it smart. Yeah, just keep, especially if it's playing well now in this system, keep him for another year, extend it by a year, and then, maybe the following year, we can then look to make some money off it.
Agreed. Before we go, well, I've got some breaking news that we need to go into. So before we dive into ones to watch or continue in this preview, Marcus Rashford has done an interview with Henry Winter, and he's basically said he's leaving, and he's ready for a new challenge and the next steps. So basically, I'll read this quote out for you, and I'll get your reaction to it. And obviously, anyone else who's in the chat, please do get your opinions in on this. But I'll read the quote because I know you don't like to just go off, whatever the quotes say. Sometimes aggregators can twist words a little bit. But these are the quotes that I've got here. So Marcus Rashford asked whether he's staying or leaving. For me personally, I think I'm ready for a new challenge and the next steps. When I leave, it's going to be no hard feelings. You're not going to have any negative comments from me about Manchester United. That's me as a person. If I know that a situation is already a bad one, I'm not going to make it worse. I've seen how other players have left in the past, and I don't want to be that person. When I leave, I'll make a statement, and it'll be from me. What are your thoughts on that, Civir?
Well said. Well said, I think. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing venomous there. And I think everyone agrees that it's time for you to find to go for, just go somewhere else, man. Just for your own mental health. It's clearly not working at the moment for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, why leave? Why make it a messy exit? Just leave, in good faith. And I like what he said about, he's not going to make any negative comments, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Does it say where he's going, or he just said he's leaving?
No, so he got asked about it. He was like, "Yeah, look, I think I'm ready for a new challenge now." He's not said specifics. I mean, that is the big thing. It's kind of like, who
they've clearly had a chat.
Yeah, definitely.
He's spoken to the club has spoken to him. He's probably not part of the plans. I think just in every different angle, it doesn't work, and there's no need to force it. Like, you can just, I think this is the right time, really. And hopefully we get some good money for him. But,
it's time, innit? Like, it's got to a point. I think fans have gotten to a point where it's like, it's better for all parties, and this is the consistent message that I keep seeing, if he just moves on. Because he's still got years left in his career. He's technically just coming into his prime. He obviously still gets like hard media attention, the most probably out of any Man United fan, given where he's come from, and things he's done for the club and stuff. He probably knows he's probably just fed up of, you know what I mean? It's been years and years worth of inconsistencies and different coaches and challenges, and I think I could see him succeeding elsewhere in Europe, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think he can get out of his way. Like, it's one of those ones where he's tried, and I don't think Marcus Rashford hasn't tried not to turn it around. I think he's tried, Obviously, his body language doesn't give much, and fans are really quick to jump on his back and stuff like that. Like, I'll criticize his performances on the pitch any day, but then I can never criticize like his actions because as someone who's had his own challenges with like mental health and stuff, I can understand how it feels when everyone is looking at you. Why can't you behave this way? Why can't you just just be happy, just look happy? But you never know, man. Like, you never know what people are going through. If you've never been through it, you'd never understand. And I think the best thing for him is just to just for us to cut ties, go somewhere else. I'll wish him the best. I think the lifestyle here, the people around him. That's what I was saying earlier. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to America because like he's always, every moment he gets is off to America. He's got friends there, the basketball players, the NFL players. There'll be huge deals, huge promotion deals there. He can be like the way Beckham left and went to LA.
Yep.
So yeah, something like that. So like not really, because I think professionally he's a professional football player. But I think he's fallen out of love, man, with the game, honestly. And
you can see it on his face, though, can't you?
It's just a job to him now. It's just a job.
Yeah.
Maybe he goes somewhere else and rediscovers it. But right now, he's just going to work. That's what it is.
Yeah, it is disheartening, man, because you always, when it's especially an academy play, you want it to work out. But what I'm going to do is, we'll continue this preview and I'll react to it after this game. I'll go live and discuss it separately because obviously it's supposed to be Spurs preview and it's kind of like, do you know what I mean? It's
but like it's one of those ones where you have to talk about it. This is the epitome of Man United. He's played on every single pitch. From the under sevens, like he's progressed all the way up. I don't think there's any other player that's played every single pitch like the way he has. Like, he's United through and through, So it's now he's unpopular with the fans, but he's still one of us, man.
Yeah, for sure. It's sad, but like I said, I'll cover this a bit more and give my opinions on this after the preview. I want to try dive back into it if possible, Civir. I know that is breaking news, kind of, but the ones to watch in this Spurs game. Who are we going with for United and for Spurs?
Well, now obviously, we'll go Maguire. I don't know if he starts Ahmad, because that was a lot from him. I'll definitely go Maguire. We might see Casemiro and Mainu, just because you have to rest Ugarte.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe the midfield we definitely want to watch. If either of Rashford or Garnacho played, it would be ones to watch because, especially Garnacho, like he's got something to prove. So it's one of those ones. It's really tough because at United, like, we have our standard performers. Masrari, Ugarte, Ahmad. Like them ones. Everybody else is just kind of lukewarm. Well, apart from Maguire recently has been, But everyone
lukewarm
else
is one way of putting it, innit?
Yeah, everyone's just kind of like lukewarm. You're not really sure what you're gonna get on the day, like Anthony might actually
looks all right. The little combinations with
with
Ahmad.
Ahmad. He might come in because Maz is injured. We might see Euro at right centre back.
Yeah, I think so.
Left wing back. So he might be one to watch.
I think so. Yeah. I've gone with Xerxes in this game because I think Xerxes might start it. I think there'll be rotation, and I think he might have a good game. For Spurs, I think it's Brennan Johnson. He seems to score every single game for them, so I'll go with that. 5 quick fire questions for you. Who will finish higher this season, Spurs or United?
Probably Spurs, man.
Ouch. I'll go United. I think United have got to finish higher than them. If we do this combined 11 quickly, or rather than a combined 11, let's just say, what Spurs players would you take into United's team? That's a better question.
Kulusevski, Son, Bentancur,
the full fucking team.
Van de Ven, bro. I think that's it. Yeah, Kulu. Yeah, I think that's it. Really.
You sure you don't want any more stuff just to chuck in there? Because it sounds like you're like,
Yeah, there's a few more, but come on. Like,
I
yeah,
know, I
I
know.
think those three. I think those three, literally. Everyone hates Pedro Porro. I rate him, man.
I
I
like him
like him.
offensively. I think he's very suspect offensively.
Offensively, yes, exactly.
Offensively,
And
he's great.
he's played for my lights just went off. He's played for Amarin before, so you know.
Oh yeah, he played. Of course, he played at
Yeah,
Sporting,
played a
didn't he?
sport in there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that. Will Rashford or Garnacho start or both?
I think one of them will start. And I won't be surprised if one of them scores. Because every time Max Rashford comes under scrutiny, he turns out he might not play well, but he just scores. Like he did it against Wolves, did it
Mm.
against Arsenal, did it against he's done like 3 times already. And then the other time when that thing happened to Garnacho, he didn't score that game, but he scored the next game
Mm.
when he refused to celebrate and blah blah blah. So it's I think one out one of them will score, definitely.
Interesting. Will United score more than 2?
It's possible, but I'll say two will probably be the most we'll score. But it's possible. You can't, bro. You can't tell this United team.
It's hard. It's so hard, isn't it? But that Spurs fans are probably saying the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't tell, man. Like, I mean, we'll sit here and probably go, it's going to be like 2-1, and then we'll go and like hammer them like 4 or something, or the other way. You can't tell. Realistically, I'll go 2. Probably score 2.
2 goals. I think this could have a potential for a bit of a barn burner. You know, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie. Prediction for the man of the match, please, Mr. Ortega.
I suck with these things, man. Man of the match.
You could just say I don't know if you want.
Should we go Bruno?
You think Bruno in a Spurs game?
I don't know. By default,
By default. Okay.
I'll just say that.
Okay.
Well, man of the match. No, actually, sorry. Let me take that back. Maguire. I'll go Maguire.
Harry Maguire. But then I think it will. If it's Maguire, then surely we would have had a tough game defending quite a lot. Do you see that happening?
I don't, mate. You asked me a question.
Well, thank you for your analysis. Appreciate it. Right, let's just do predicted 11s then. Hopefully, you can remember some of the players that you've put in there.
Yeah.
Right, we shall switch it up. So I think I'm gonna have to sort my camera out. But talk me through your 11. First and foremost, can you remember it?
Yes.
Okay.
And I also remember that I think I left Bruno out, which I was like, oh shit. But anyway, I've gone Euro right centre back.
Mm-hmm.
I've got Maguire for middle, and I've gone Lisandro Martinez for left centre back.
Okay.
And I've gone Euro obviously because of the injury to Mazraoui.
Yeah.
And for rotation as well. I've got Anthony on wing back.
Yeah.
Dalot on the left. And then I've gone Casemiro. Did I go Ugarte?
Yeah.
Yeah, Casemiro Ugarte. And then I went for Garnacho, Højlund, and Ahmad.
Garnacho, Højlund, Ahmad. You said yeah.
Yes, yeah, that's what I went for. Yeah.
Okay. Why have you gone for that front three specifically, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, so we've lost Mason Mount, and I also think we wouldn't see Garnacho and Rashford starting together. I don't think that's going to happen. So that leaves what's his name? That leaves Ahmad.
Yep.
To pick. I know we've also got Xerxes, but I feel like we might go with Rasmus Højlund just to exploit the space in behind. So I think the manager might go for pace rather than Xerxes. So that's why I've chosen Højlund over Xerxes. And I think Ahmad just because I think he won't play the full game, obviously. But I think we start with him, and then Rashford comes on or Garnacho comes on, whichever one starts. Either that, or it might be Ahmad or Bruno. I think.
Okay. I'm all right with that. Right, let's see. To be honest, I'm trying to remember the ones that I put in. Let me just change the starting 11 and put that in. So I've gone Onana, Euro. I think De Ligt centrally, mainly because I know Maguire's just come back from an injury. So whether he'll play him 2 games in a row. He's just played the first full 90 minutes for a while, and that was against City. So I think DeLittle will come back in central role. Lisandro Martinez out and left centre back because, like you said, with Maz, I'm not entirely sure. Anthony right wing back, because I agree, he had a nice little cameo. And I think you can afford to bring him on against Spurs as a wing back. I think he's got qualities to go in there. Malacia comes in at left wing back. I don't know about his injuries at the moment, so I don't know how available he is. So that might be one that doesn't happen. But I think Kobe, Ugarte, same partnership in the midfield. I think they need to work on that and develop it, because I think that's the best partnership you can have. And the way Spurs are with Maddison and these kind of guys, and Kulusevski dropping in at times, can be difficult. And then front three, Ahmad, although he could do with the rest, you made a great point about that. Xerxes up top will rotate in this cup game, and I actually think Marcus Rashford will start. And to be honest, I can see the narrative being more about people are just going to be asking about Rashford now rather than the actual game going into it. Yeah. I can see that happening, and it's going to irritate me. But
especially now that this news is broken.
That's what I mean. So yeah. All right, let's end this preview then, Civir. Score prediction, please, mate.
2-0 United.
You don't think Spurs score? That is interesting.
I don't think so. We have to get set pieces. I don't know how good they are on set pieces, but I think we've managed. I think we can keep them out and be. I think.
Very nice. Okay, I'll take that. You know what? I'm going to be positive with you. I think I'm going to go 2-0 as well, or 2-1. No, I'll go 2-1.
Don't go with me, because you're always more on point when it comes to predictions than I am. Like, I always get it. I'm always way off. So
I can see a scoring 2 though. It's just Spurs that I worry about. I think they could score a couple as well. So I'm going to completely change it. I'm going to go 2-2, and I think it'll go to extra time, and then it's a toss up. We'll see what happens. That's what I think's going to happen. So yeah,
let's just hope they're really Spursy.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed, mate. Thank you very much, Civir, for taking time out of your day and coming on. Appreciate your thoughts. It's been a very jam-packed preview, because obviously the news breaking halfway between. But we've got through a lot of detail, and obviously we play Thursday night, which we will be live for, guys, on pre-match and post-match. So make sure you come and join us for that. Apart from that, I will do a video on Marcus Rashford, the news that's just broke. So again, keep an eye out for that as well. Turn on your notification bell so you know when it drops, and subscribe to the channel. Me and Civir will see you guys in the next one. See you in a bit.